Are you ready for the Low Bros Network? Every Wednesday on the Low Blows Network, the Low Blows team are at hand to break down, analyze, and make fun of all things pro wrestling. Hosted by former pro wrestler Rick Nash. I think the only reasonable thing we can do now is turn John Cena heel.
Selfie with me fucking Doug.
Banned from Nigeria. I will be talking to the government tomorrow morning. YouTube star Corporate King.
This elephant has 4 legs. Joe Russell's 4 legs. Joseph Stalin, if he had 2 more legs.
Bonesaw rips off his shirt, yeah, and it says, "Chuck your law, big dirty tricorder."
And the Queen of Irish Wrestling, Katie Harvey.
I won't want to decide. Just CM Punk.
So embarrassed. CM Punk.
It's Low Blows. The nurses got their money. Congratulations to the unsung heroes of Irish society who suspended 3 planned days of strike action after a pay deal worth over €30 million was agreed during the week. Low Blow showing solidarity with the heroes that are the nurses, keeping us healthy, working their asses off. I had a girl in my day job. Like I saw that on my phone and I felt really happy. I'm like, oh, the nurses got their money, and then she turns around and she's like, no, she's a bit of a hunzo. Like, she turns around and she's like, them bitches ruined my Saturday. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, these people who work ridiculous hours for, like, obviously less money than they're entitled to, ruined your Saturday by asking for it. It's like, why? What happened? What is important enough that was more important than the nurses, the backdrop of our society, getting more money? Me fella needed to get a sleeve and I was stuck in traffic all day. I'm like, oh, that's the real fucking travesty of our generation. Like, but no, apart from her, the rest of us, I think, are fairly happy to them. But as we get kicked off here, on another edition of Low Blows, Rick Nash and Corporate Keenan here. Katie Harvey resting up from her injury still, but she is resting fast and maybe back quicker than you think here on the show. Corporate Keen, what people or sector in wrestling, it can be a wrestler or it can be a job, a specific role like a ref, a timekeeper, etc., deserves better pay?
Right, so it's a coincidence that I'm bringing this up now because we were asked about him last week on the show by Kento. Your man that threw the fucking cans at Steve Austin.
Oh, Mark Eaton.
That's the name, Mark Eaton. Right.
Yeah.
What's that his name?
Yeah, no, do you know, I only realised, right, okay, so this is an Ask Low Blows reference. Last week, Kento was doing a quiz with questions about Stone Cold Steve Austin's career. He asked the timekeeper that threw the cans at Austin. We said Mark Yaron. Now, like, because I just had Yaron and you had Yates in your head. Yeah. So between us, we would have got it right. But I had Yaron. Do you know where I got that from?
Where?
I'm watching Game of Thrones again. And Yoren is the guy who saves Arya after what happens to Ned in season 1. So Yoren is the guy from the Night's Watch. Do you remember? Yeah, but do you remember Arya goes off on the run with Gendry and Hot Boy and all, and he's straight after Ned. What happens there? I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. My memory when it comes to TV shows, like the few that I do watch, is horrific. And when it comes to, like, I can name the most obscure wrestlers, and I can memorize like someone that's made one appearance at an MSW gym show, but I can't name 75% of the Game of Thrones cast.
Seriously. Anyway, no, but that's where I got the Yaron from, just to follow up for anyone who was listening.
Oh, okay.
But Mark Yeaton is his name. Sorry.
Yeaton, right? Okay. So this lad. He throws. I saw a video of it ages ago of like all these different clips of him throwing cans at Steve Austin. Never misses. Not once has he ever missed. He gets these, and they're at incredible angles as well. Like I saw one where Steve Austin was halfway up the ramp, and Newton's in the fucking timekeeper's area, and he gets it spot on every single time. That lad should be getting paid more than Austin, and I mean that. Phenomenal stuff.
He changed the business. Like, yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, imagine if he wasn't there. Imagine if they had someone. Think about all the iconic moments, especially in 2002, 2003, when Austin's having those beer bashes, whatever. Imagine if they just got someone who couldn't throw cans and they're just
just underarming it.
Imagine they got me. Imagine they got me into it. I'm just like, sorry.
The cat's just falling against the apron, spray going everywhere. JR's like, this is a goddamn joke.
Imagine Austin happened to like, oh no, but imagine if it was like just silence, like there's no commentary, no nothing. It's just the crowd aren't even cheering because they're underwhelmed. And Austin, it's just a silent thud of the can as it hits the apron and falls miserably to the ground. And then Austin has to like climb slowly, like tumble out of the ring to kind of pick up the can. And then he doesn't even smash it because the moment's ruined. So he just opens it normally and just kind of.
He has to drink it because there's a hole in the side of it from ripping. So he has to kind of shotgun it. I think that would have changed wrestling as well.
Exactly.
The Attitude Era wouldn't have happened if that. I've never thought about it, but now that you say it, yeah. Personally, if I was to say people that should get a bigger pay rise in professional wrestling, bookers.
Oh heck yeah.
Bookers, because they do a lot of work for very little money, and you don't necessarily know what you're signing up to. It's a lot at times. I'm just saying. I think bookers, and they ultimately put together the show that whatever people come for, they're coming for what the booker has created. I'm just saying I think bookers should get more money. Like, I'm going to say that.
I'm not going to argue against it. Like, it wasn't really the first thing that popped into my head, but I'll take it. You know what I mean? Like,
seriously, I was like, how do I quit? Like, as soon as it came up about money, I'm like, how do I frame this around me? I have to make my case here.
Actually, while we're on topic, commentators whose names rhyme with Schmorp and Schmeen, I think definitely, specifically those commentators deserve a massive colossal pay rise.
I like how you're pitching for yourself, but you're hanging Ben giving out to dry.
But if everyone got paid, like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, yeah, I don't know, I would, I don't deserve a pay rise, but I would take one though.
You're co-commentator, and you're saying that, like,
for all I know, he could already be on that big money, that big payday.
The JR money, that golden Soli bank.
I mean, you never know. I mean, then plus, like, when he goes back up north, then he's got the conversion, the exchange rate. So surely when he comes to Dublin, he makes fucking shit tons, I'm guessing.
Sure.
I don't know, actually. I mean, sure, we could pay me and Ben.
Ben, how much do you get paid? We just want to know here. Hello, you think we'd know this stuff, but the bookers, it's a time.
I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking of Tony in my head, and then I was like, well, Tony's got a jacket with his name on it. He's doing fine.
He's grand, yeah. Can't afford socks though. It's one of those things, fur coat, no socks.
Well,
so who knows?
As he would say, it's fashion, and we just don't understand it. So I don't know who to believe, really.
Maybe the most random start to a low blows in quite some time.
Do it.
Katie's still gone, and like it's just the kids running mad. The inmates run the asylum here. Katie, come back soon. Fingers crossed. We need it. It's going to shit around here, guys. We have a busy show this week because it's the start of the Irish Wrestling Ton, where everything, like all of Irish wrestling, are running within like 2 days of each other. So we're going to be previewing Fight Factory episode 7, which is this Friday in the Big Sean, and we're going to be talking about Elimination Chamber because No Spoiler Monday is returning next Monday in Buskers on the Ball. We're going to be talking through the card, we're going to be talking through what you can expect on the night, and much more. And then we're going to be talking through the good and the bad from the week, as well as the news, and giving our hot takes. But first, before we get started, we had another death in wrestling, sadly, yesterday. Pedro Morales passed away at age 76 this week after a long battle with Parkinson's disease. Morales was the first ever Triple Crown champion in WWE, or WWF as it would have been called then, and the successor to Bruno Sammartino as the guy after the latter's legendary WWF Championship reign. It's very hard to say You're just so trained. When the two words come after WW, you're like, it's either W or E. And not two more letters. Like, but anyway, yeah, he, so basically, Sammartino lost the belt to Ivan Koloff, but that's because Sammartino was a big babyface and Pedro Morales was a big babyface. Koloff was essentially a transitional champion to get the belt onto Morales, and he held it for 2 years thereafter. So the two headlined WWE's first, I'm just going to say WWE, their first Showdown at Shea event in 1972, wrestling to a draw, and Morales was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2015, a legendary figure of the business. business. Unfortunately, one of those people who's kind of been lost to time because none of us were alive when he was at his peak, but still deserves a shout out. And one person I know that wanted to give him a shout out, was very vociferous in his efforts to do so, was the person we turn to at these times, because we can read out their list of accomplishments and whatnot, but we don't know what it's like to be a wrestler. Like, even me, and I did it for 5 years, I was not very good. So we don't know how it feels to be like one of these guys on the road, and like how it feels when you lose a colleague or a legend that you may have looked up to. So we turn to one person who just has a knack, just has a way of words and a blunt force. Well, honesty is the best way you can put it. We turn to Lance Storm at tough times like this, because Lance is obviously known for his bluntness. He speaks things very clearly. He lets go of sentiment whenever there's a wrestler death. Even though most people are getting sentimental, he's just factual. He sticks to the facts. Whatever he thinks at that moment in time, he tweets it out. But unfortunately, his handlers, I think his daughter runs his Twitter account, seem to have caught wind that this was becoming a thing. So they've stopped him tweeting this stuff out. However, what we did is we hacked his Twitter account. If I can be serious for a minute, try it yourselves, guys. I couldn't believe that was the password, but it is. So what we've got is his Twitter drafts, the stuff he wanted to put up, and we're going to read you out Lance Storm's tributes now to Pedro Morales. Rest in peace, Pedro Morales. You could say that morale is low now. My wife tells me to stop doing puns about dead people, or just ever. I did not know Pedro Morales. However, I did know a Hispanic man named Pedro who worked in our local hot dog store. He is also dead after being shot in an armed robbery. It was horrific. So it could be worse, Pedro Morales. Rest in peace. Pedro Morales has died. He was from Puerto Rico. They have a population of 3,411,307. -1 now. That last one's actually kind of sad. It's not even funny, it's just sad. And too real, Lance, too real. Anyway, guys, time for us to discuss the news that's been catching our eyes for this week, because even while Harvey's Hot Take is on hiatus, back shortly though, we are taking over the Hot Take reins, and we're going to give you our thoughts on what's been catching our eyes. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it's time for Hot Takes. I'm not sure what to make of All Elite Wrestling yet, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like, I kind of like the theory of it. I was listening to James Caan actually on Chris Jericho's podcast this week. First time I've listened to Talk is Jericho in ages. It's kind of gone to the dogs, but this was very interesting because he's kind of laying out, and I like the sound of James Caan and the business behind what they're doing with AEW. I kind of do want to see it succeed, but at the same time, I don't know, Corby Kane, how, like, Is it hooking you? Is it exciting you to see all of this happening? Because it's not for me.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic about it. Like until it actually does a show, it's just a t-shirt company. But yeah. I think, they'll do well at the start at least, and I hope they build on it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where you just don't know until it happens. So there's no point in saying, it's going to take over the world, or, it's going to be shit. You know what I mean?
I feel like I'm kind of like just completely, but you be along the lines of where I am, but I feel like I'm out in the cold by not having a strong stance on it yet, because everyone, now this is just Twitter in general, everyone needs to either love or hate anything because that's what gets the likes. But I've got a very neutral stance. But then, like, I'm watching Being the Elite because I want to like it. You know what I mean? I'm like, if this is good, then this is an extra wrestling show for me to follow and watch. Like, so I'm happy with that. But, like, I'm watching Being the Elite trying to get a clue of what it is. And this week, and last week's as well, I don't know, it was weird because sometimes in this Hot Take segment we will give out about stuff fans do. And sometimes even Irish fans like will have a go at their own because that's what's going on Twitter. Easy content. Fans do stupid shit all the time, and it's very easy to make up rants about them. That's why we go there. But I want to change things up a little bit, and I want to express pride in Irish fans because I don't know if you've seen it or if you've been following Being the Elite, but it seems like the current build to AEW in terms of as an on-screen wrestling product, because they don't have their own shows yet till Double or Nothing, so they have to kind of build through working independent dates and whatnot and Being the Elite. The current build is basically, do you remember the first Scrappermania in the stadium where it was like 20 minutes of the Elite just jobbing out the entire OTT roster? And even on Being the Elite, the show that happened in the National Stadium later, it was just literally Cody ruining.
It was just them sucking themselves off. I mean, you can say it.
yeah, exactly. It was like, but what I'm proud of is that Irish people saw this and rightfully said, that's bollocks, I don't like that, I don't want to see that, I want to see fucking Angel Cruz, and I want to see Jordan Devlin win the belt, and I want to see this, and I want to see that, and people weren't happy with it. The problem is, I'm looking at all these American indies, because that's pretty much what it seems to be. They go to a new indie promotion every week, make a surprise appearance, and then beat the shit out of these no-name local guys, and then just absolutely job them out. They all, like, 4 guys attack one, and all hit their finisher, and the crowd are like, the elite, and I'm like, that's shit.
Ah, yeah, but that's because you're not there. In the heat of the moment, I see also, like, for me personally, like, I'm not even a massive Elite fan, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they did it. If they did come to OTT as a surprise and just... Okay, now, if they super kick Devlin, obviously that'd be
yes,
cool.
this is what I'm saying.
No, but it might not be Devlin, though. It might not be the Devlin of that company.
But that's what they want. They want to beat the top guys because they're showing we're the best. We're the this. If Devlin's in the ring, Devlin beats Walter and Scrappermania. Now, I know I'm leaping a long way,
but it's quite a stretch.
If he beats Walter or Scrappermania at the end, and then Cody fucking walks out with the Young Bucks behind him, and they all do, and Hangman Page, and they job Devlin the fuck out, I don't think the Irish crowd would react the same. I think there'd probably be an element of it. They'd be like, D, but I think the Irish crowd would be like, what the fuck? That was self-indulgent nonsense.
When you say job out, do you mean like he gets pinned or just gets the shit kicked out?
They all hit their finishers on them and they all just celebrate, and then the crowd chant, the Elite, the Elite.
Yeah, it wouldn't get a good reaction, but I think that would be kind of cool, though. I think, imagine if they were going to do, like, say, Cody versus Devlin.
But that's the point. They're not acknowledging these guys. Like, if you see it, it's like, this is just no-name jobber. But that's probably the territory's top guy that they're jobbing out.
You don't know that.
But they've done it in OTT.
Oh, yeah.
In the main event, they did it. And people were like, that shit, it went on 20 minutes too long. I missed my bus. And I didn't care. It was shit to see Logan Bryce get the shit kicked out of him, and Martina get the shit kicked out of her, and this and that. They did it for like 20 minutes at the end of the first scrapper. And I'm sorry, but like, well, you can feel how you feel about it, but like, I think it's shit. And I was proud of Irish audiences for being like, no, that's bollocks. Like, support your fucking own.
I don't remember that reaction happening at WrestleMania 3. The second time, yeah, I saw a lot of people complaining because, like, it was before the main event and it was like people were missing shit, whatever. But I remember a very, very positive reaction to that, because this is when, like, very few people really criticised OTT at this stage, just like with the first stage.
It wasn't even like OTT they were criticising, though. It was the fact that OTT people were getting beaten up. I remember, like, people criticising it. I remember going on Twitter afterwards, and like what people were giving out for was they missed their bus because the show ran long, as all the old stadium shows did, and like, because it was the first one as well, like, and of course it did, but people gave out because it's like, did we need that at the end? Like, they were with it until the dance-off, and then 10 minutes afterwards it was just
the show
excessive.
is over. That show, it was like, that's just a post-show thing, to be honest.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is, it's shit for them to just come in. Like, they're not coming back. What they're doing is going on a tour. Like Donald Trump doing rallies ahead of an election. They are going on a tour and they're saying, AEW's coming, come to AEW, be our thing. It's like Tommy Dreamer when he was at OTT.
I should remember that. I completely remember that. It's like...
It's the exact same thing that they're doing, though. They're doing what Tommy Dreamer's doing. And if you don't know, go on.
It's just where it's like, you get all emotional, you tell the story, and it's just like... I'm Irish. Yeah! And my granddad, yeah! From Cork. Boo! And he comes in and he's like, he starts giving out the Butch, he starts giving out because his music was wrong, whatever, and he's like, I'm going to come back here with House of Hardcore, who are like, 2 years later, nowhere near the size of OTT.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're going to sell out a bigger venue. That didn't happen, but...
But that's what they're doing. They're coming in, they're taking out companies' top guys, and they're doing it because they can. Because like what's happening is and you can tell they're pushing around these small indie promotions, and they're like, "Let us come in and do this. We'll give you a free appearance," or blah blah blah. I don't know. They probably do end up getting paid. I doubt they're getting all those lads for free. But like, we'll give you a surprise appearance at a cut rate because you can't advertise us, and then we'll come in, we'll job your guy out, and you can have a working relationship with AEW, which is never really going to be fulfilled. Like, they're not going to, like, you're not going to see, AEW from Cleveland, they're coming in now and doing an invasion. But that's what they're working these promoters, and then they're jobbing out the top guys just to get themselves over. Like, if this is what AEW is, I'm not into it, because it's like, alright, you're masturbating and putting yourselves, like, over everyone and just being like, wow, guys, you know, we're starting the movement. I think we know that this wasn't just a bet on Twitter. This was a movement. And it's just like, I don't like it. It's wanky. It's wanky. It's just what I'm saying.
It is, as long as it's... You see, for me, like, if I was a fan in, say, the stadium or whatever, I'd be... Yeah, you see, it depends on if it is, like, to a top guy or not. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it was the fucking... Like, who'd be good? Like, if it was
Team Prick, you're like...
Yeah, like,
okay,
that'd be dead. Yeah,
or Dom Tuck or something like that. You're like,
but
alright.
or just someone who's just not doing anything at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd be cool with that. I wouldn't mind that. Actually, I'd love that, because it's just random as fuck and fun. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, if it was like Devlin or Walter or something, do you know what I mean? That'd be shit.
Yeah, and they've done it before too. Like, all of the OTT roster. Like, they've literally done it to OTT.
But who was it, though? Do you know what I mean? Who was it specifically?
Everyone ran out to do. Do you not remember the whole roster cleared the ring because it was like, they're doing a dance-off and they're getting the whole roster in the ring. This is really nice. Yeah. And then they super kicked everyone. They knocked them out. The only person who got a bit of offense was Logan Bryce. And his offense was ducking a clothesline. And then he got taken out.
My memory of it is just that it was comedy wrestlers.
Then watch it in OTT on demand.
I'll watch it back.
The main event, Ryan Smile and all were in it. They were in the dance-off.
Yeah, but they'd already been attacked. Like, they already went through a full match, so them getting attacked afterwards. I'm like, you know what I mean?
This isn't a criticism of OTT. This is a criticism of how the elite do their business.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, to me, it's a big difference whether or not it's somebody who's at the top and somebody who's just, you know...
I don't know. I just don't feel that. Like,
I do get where you're coming from.
I don't feel that, like, kinship towards the elite. I'm not one of those where I'm like, the elite, the
seeing them, yeah.
I'm not that guy. But when I see entire audiences just turn on their local indie and be like, Cody, I'm going to be on YouTube. It's just like, it's not like that over here. And all I'm saying is, I was proud of us for not having the same reaction when they tried this shit with us, because we're like, go fuck yourself.
I also think...
To this day, if Cody's on fucking Reddit, this shit gets brought up, and it's like, what you say about fucking Foxy?
I also think it's because we're Irish, and we have, like, Irish wrestlers, whereas in those indies, it's American wrestlers being invaded by more American wrestlers, so, like, who's the real kind of local... Do you know what I mean? Like... I just feel, I don't know.
I just lose respect for the fans, like, when they do that, because it's just like, stop sucking their dicks. And again, it was just, for me, we didn't do that.
But
we didn't do that.
You also don't know who are the local guys specifically. It could be shit. You know what I mean?
All right, fair enough. Right,
like, we've Devlin. Like,
well, they packed. They're not going to empty arenas. They're going to arenas that were packed out before they were advertised. So they must be doing it. All right. Anyway, look, we're going around in circles here. Let's move on to your hot take.
Right, so if you're following Raw and WWE, you know, like, Charlotte got put into the match, or sorry, she actually, I didn't watch Raw, so could you please tell me what happened again? I was hoping to bullshit my way through that. Becky got suspended, was it?
Becky was suspended last week.
Yeah.
Because she wouldn't go to a doctor to get her knee checked out. She did go to a doctor over the weekend. Triple H and Stephanie called her on Raw. She was confirmed to be a part of it. And then what happened was Triple H and Stephanie said they apologized for putting her through any undue stress, and she was in the main event of WrestleMania if she could just apologize herself for attacking both of them. And they didn't accept an apology, and then it was all good. So the whole show, and we'll talk about this later on, but the whole show was Triple H and Stephanie, are they going to, or is Becky going to apologize? And people are coming up and giving her advice here and there and blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of the show, she said, right, if I have to apologize, if it's just a case of like losing my dream or saying 2 words, I'm sorry. Yeah, there we go. Are we good? Are we good? And they let her off. They said, you're good. You're going to WrestleMania. She cut a promo on Rousey. Rousey came out and people are fucking hyped. And it's great seeing the excitement. Like, there's legitimate, like, Austin Rock vibes with those two now. People, like, have it, like, as soon as she's walking. Because Rousey's music hit and she just did the, you know, the fuck off walk. You know, her fucking dead face. She's just doing that, like, staring a hole through Becky. And you're like, shit, shit, shit. And then you hear, Vince McMahon comes out on stage and he says, Becky, I don't like, you know, blah, blah, I don't like, this could be a great main event, but I don't like you. You think you're bigger than WWE. No one's bigger than WWE. So you're suspended for 60 days, which leaves you 5 days after WrestleMania. The crowd go apeshit. And then Vince was like, we need a company person for this, and then introduces Charlotte. Who comes out and on the stage and just like, you know, basks in it, and you know the reaction. Even Rousey looks pissed as well. Like, Becky looks heartbroken, Rousey looks pissed. So that was the story anyway.
That's amazing.
We'll talk about that more.
But I did see the reaction to it. That's roughly what I thought happened. There was a good reaction to it. No, sorry. There was a bad reaction to it. People were really, 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 really angry about this. They were raging. They were like, can't believe Charlotte's in this match. This is bullshit. You know, if you go on YouTube, it actually has a shit ton of dislikes as well, which is a good sign because it shows people care and all that. And it's amazing to see.
Yeah.
But then there's this one lad on Reddit who completely enlightened me. I don't know about you, but this, you should really brace yourself because this is quite it's quite an eye-opener. You know? He goes, oh my God, you guys are getting so worked. Well, honestly, I'm blown away by that because getting worked, that's who'd want to get worked? You know what I mean? It's
certainly not wrestling fans.
My stance on this is just, why the fuck isn't that the default mode anyway? Why aren't you getting worked? Why is getting worked even a phrase?
Yeah.
It shouldn't mean anything.
Yeah.
You're meant to get worked by default. Like, when I watch The Walking Dead, spoilers. Do you watch The Walking Dead? Or do you
Yeah,
care?
I do.
Are you up to date with it?
I'm up to date.
Okay, so for anyone who...
Skip ahead 30 seconds.
Yeah, okay.
Say it really quickly.
When Negan bashed Glenn's head in, and we were all really fucking sad about it, because we loved Glenn, we were sad, because we loved Glenn. We were not getting worked. We were sad. Like, who did anyone sit there on the forums afterwards going, oh man, you guys are all getting worked over his Glenn death? Yes, because he died. I'm really sad about it. Like, right now, Charlotte has replaced Becky. Therefore, I'm sad about it, because I'm a Becky Lynch fan. Like, yeah, okay, I'm sure we can all, you know, assume that, you know, Becky will probably be in the match at WrestleMania, but we're playing, like, we're watching the show as a fan, and right now that's the situation that we're in. That's not getting worked. That's just following the show and reacting accordingly. Do you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? You're not above. This is what pisses me off so much, is when people think that they're above other wrestling fans by saying, you know, oh, it's a work. You're getting worked. It's like, you're not above anyone. You know what I mean? Like, in fact, I'd actually put them below other fans, because other fans are, you know, we're all just having fun, enjoying the show, and they think that and by thinking that they're above the other fans, they're below, because it's like you think that, you know, we don't already know this. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're playing along. It's fun. It's called fun. Why else would you watch wrestling? You know what I mean? Fuck.
Keen Fabe is dead.
No, I forgot to say it. Is what I would say if wrestling wasn't real, but of course it is. So, yeah.
No, I don't disagree with anything you said. Fantastic, and I can't top that. So, amazing hot take from Keen. Guys, woo! I think we need to catch a breather.
Yeah, sure.
You're right in everything you say. Moving on to the in-ring from the week, because it's time to look at the good and the bad, starting with the bad, because it's time for...
Say something stupid.
Worst of the week. In at number 5, just a quick one from SmackDown Live. I don't know if they were trying to build something here, but they're doing like little short interviews ahead of the women's tag team title match this week. So a little kind of 30-second interviews with all the teams explaining why they're a good team and this and that. Again, this was probably done on purpose as some kind of foreshadowing or something like that, but they had Nia Jackson Tamina, and it just didn't come across like it was meant to happen, because Nia's like, we're going to decimate everyone, and then Tamina just, have you seen this yet?
Oh.
It's amazing. Go out your way to see it. And then Tamina just cuts across and she's like, yeah, man, but what about that? And then Nia just keeps talking. And it happens like 2-3 times where Tamina's just like, I think this, and then Nia's like, but anyway, blah, blah, blah. But it's not like done deliberately. It's like Nia's trying to do a promo, and like Tamina just keeps interrupting her.
What's going on?
It's like, you're the monster. Why are you doing it this way? Why are you playing it like Tamina's just this dozy person who doesn't know how a promo works?
Monsters can be socially awkward too.
I know, but it's like, that's not your gimmick. Are you telling me a story here? Because you haven't hinted towards this in any way where Tamina's just socially awkward. I don't see how that's going to play into the Elimination Chamber. Is she not going to get the door open, or is she going to be like, no, you do it? I don't see what's... But I actually, no, do you know what? I really want to see this.
Yes.
In at number 4, talk to me about NXT UK.
This is such a minor thing, but I couldn't stop laughing at it, and obviously it doesn't belong, and this is awesome. So I'll put it here. It was just a quick backstage segment with Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan, tag team, and they've been offered a tag title match against the Grizzled Young Vets.
Yeah, that'd be a good match.
It will, and I hope Burch and Lorcan beat the shit out of them, although I think it already happened, I'm not sure.
Right.
But basically, Oney Lorcan is the most awkward person I've ever seen live. Similar to what we were just talking about a second ago. But Burch is off the phone. He's like, "Oh, I'm just off the phone to Johnny Saint. You know, we got that title match," and he's just like, "Yeah." it's like I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember the segment off by heart, but you know, like, "Oh, we're gonna get those titles." Yeah. He's just so awkward. And it's like if you were to come up to me with a camera and be like, right here, just read this to the camera, quick, just read it quick. Yeah. We're gonna get him. It is amazing. Just so good.
I think I need to look that up. Like, can we have like, this is awesome, say something stupid, and like socially awkward moments? Because they're really entertaining, but they're not good either. In number 3, one from Raw. I don't want to pick on EC3 because I really like him, and I was really glad he got hired by WWE. Last week, we had him in say something stupid because he does the gimmick where he doesn't talk, but then he gets to the ring and he's like, "Come on!" and actively yelling and going against everything. So it's like he doesn't talk with a mic in his hand, so that makes him look just like he has stage fright. It's weird. There are still kinks they need to work out in the character. First off, the entrance. I don't think the entrance works on a big WWE stage. Maybe it works in NXT, like on the smaller stage, more intimate environment and whatever. But like, he walks out at the start of his entrance, and then like, this part's cool. Like, he points to one side and E comes up, and then he does a muscle pose to the middle, and C comes up, and then he does a muscle pose to the right, and then 3 comes up on the screen. The problem with it is that it'd be cool if he just appeared on screen and did that. But he has to do like a 10-second walk out from the curtain where the spotlight's on him, turn around, face the screen, and it's just very choreographed, like, you know what I mean? It's real, I don't know, I just hate, like, where people are acting kind of kooky or crazy, but it's also you're conscious that it's staged. I think it's like, the Riot Squad do something similar, like Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan, where they come out and they're just like, they walk out on... Oh no, it's Nikki Cross. They're choreographing her entrance, where like she comes out on stage and then she's just like kind of like leaning over, and then like a certain point of the music kicks in, and then she remembers she's crazy. It's like, rah! It's like, if she's an actual crazy person, she's not going to wait for the key in her music.
How do you know she's not triggered by that part of the song?
Yeah, it doesn't play that way. Because she's just like, she comes in, ducks down underneath her hood, and then it's just like, just have them appear in that position rather than don't let us see them walking out and getting into position. It's just a little king. I don't know, maybe that's just the production side of me. Then it got weirder. This is why it's in it mainly. Corey Graves on commentary. So keep in mind, EC3's facing Dean Ambrose. Now it's weird. The babyface heel thing is weird because EC3 is technically babyface, I guess, by default, but they haven't kind of committed either way to him. Ambrose was a heel until last week, and then this week, I don't know if you've seen this news, he turned face with Seth Rollins in the ring. Rollins did a big dramatic promo about how much it means to him. He's going to take on Brock, and he'll give everything he has at Mania if he has to slay the beast. And then Ambrose's music hits, and he comes down. Apparently, the sheets are reporting. I don't feel right saying that. The news sites are reporting that Ambrose wasn't supposed to. He was supposed to do a long promo where he's like, Seth, we've come a long way since the Shield. I remember this, and then they put their animosity behind him, and then he's like, good luck at WrestleMania. But Ambrose is on his way out. He's serving his notice as we speak. So apparently he just went off script and just said, slay the beast, and then he just walked out of the ring and sat at the timekeeper's desk, and they had to cut to a commercial. So Ambrose, I guess, is a face again. And then in the middle of this, Corey Graves, while trying to get over the characters, again, EC3, for all we know, he's not acting heelish anyway. Corey Graves just turns around and he goes, I heard EC3 describe himself earlier on as a dose of toxic masculinity. And then, everyone on commentary got really awkward because they're all like, EC3, he's so good, he's so this. They're trying to put him over. They're like, he's really good looking and he's in great shape, but he's a great athlete, really accomplished, and he's toxic masculinity. And then everyone's like, right.
It's not exactly relevant, though, is it?
That's a phrase mainly in 2019 associated with rapey and gropey and handsy. That's not really something that is something you say if you're trying to, get a character over. It was weird. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with EC3. They just they've called him too soon and they haven't figured out. They'd no plan. And now they're just improvising a plan and it's not working because it's like, we don't know what we're doing here. And a talented wrestler is getting kind of lost in the shuffle. Anyway, in at number 2, I apologize in advance for this because I'm going to talk about one of your faves, Tama Tonga. He started this, and this is something this is one of my massive pet peeves in wrestling, and it's always going to be in Say Something Stupid when they do it. Do you know when, wrestling companies will do a storyline that's, it goes nowhere, and then at the end of it, they just reverse back to the way it was at the start? Kind of like an episode of The Simpsons, where it's the end of it is just everything will go back to normal, because we've a non-linear storyline, we've no season-long story arcs. They kind of did that with Tama Tonga. So he's the bad guy since the kind of OGs split last year and all that. And he's known for being controversial on Twitter and talking shit in the ring and on the mic and stuff like that. That's been his gimmick. The start of the New Beginning tour that just wrapped up last week, or this week, they had him start to do a gimmick where he's the good guy and he's all of a sudden having a crisis of conscience and this and that. And you're like, okay, that's interesting. I don't think anyone's cheering for him. I don't think anyone wants Tama Tonga to be a babyface. I don't think he's over as a heel, but no, he's not charismatic enough to kind of have the fans turn him either. Do you know what I mean? So no one's asking for it. And then he's just all of a sudden stopping the lads cheating and then trying to be a good guy. And then, so you're like, right, I don't know where this is going. It's weird the whole time. And then you're like, they're probably just going to have him just snap out of it. And they did. But it wasn't on one of the main shows. It was on one of the... So they do their big shows, but then they have basically house shows, but you can watch them in Japanese on New Japan World. And then 2 days before, they had a big show with a match against Most Violent Players. They just had him snap out of it and become the bad guy again. And now he's just back to the way he was at the start. And they beat the Most Violent Players. And it's just what's his motivation? What was the point? Is it all if it's all a clever ruse, he wanted to lure them into a false sense of security, he's lost matches because of this. I know he won the last match of the tour, but it's not a title match. It's not any more significant than any other matches. What was the point of any of this except just we need to vary up these matches because it's the same match every night, and then it just went nowhere. It was really shit. That's for number 2 from New Japan. In at number 1 though, worst of the week. They were kind of nitpicking this week.
Yeah, no, I mean it was fine. The Lucha Bros, who I'll get to later, they have a match basically. Impact booked them in a match in 2019. against Rob Van Dam and Sabu.
On Impact.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Sabu is going to be on Impact.
That's a risk.
In 2019. Okay, so I'm putting it and say something stupid because I had to put something in there. I am intrigued by this, right? I'm not going to lie. I'm going to watch it, and I am curious to see what happens. But have you seen Sabu wrestle in the last year?
No, I've seen him tweet a lot, though.
Twitter, fuck Twitter, doesn't matter. Have you seen him wrestle in 2019?
No.
Or 2018?
I don't think I want to.
I have. I saw him wrestle once in ICW. He got very angry at Stevie Boy. And I saw him wrestle live in a company that no longer exists. And
CC, who
that's
must not be named?
probably why. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't good. And this probably won't be good. This will be really bad, actually. But again, I'm curious enough to watch it, so I'll hold my judgment on it. But I mean, I'm going in with low expectations.
Like his Twitter is like bad. It's like a guy who he's having problems right now and shouldn't be let anywhere near his phone, much less a like televised wrestling company. And did you see his tweet for the OTT thing?
No.
I can't remember what he said, but it was just like he quote tweeted, like I think it was one of the Sean Ryan videos, and he was like, rah, 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 rah. It's just pure gibberish, like. And then I just quote tweeted him back, and I'm like, the man knows how to talk to me in the building. It's just like he's just absolute gibberish. We had Katie Harvey, I was about to call her. Yeah, it was Sabrina the Teenage Witch. No, we had Katie a few weeks ago talk about like some of his sexist and racist tweets, like. But yeah, he's in a bad way.
My favourite was when I think OTT put out like who do you want to see come to Ireland, and then the genie that he's with. Oh, you know her. I don't know her name, but she's like a genie and she's like his manager and stuff. They basically they do bookings together or whatever, and she's just like, Ireland loves Sabu. I'm like, that's questionable. I was at the last show with Sabu, and I mean it happened, and he was there. And now he's not there, and he hasn't been there since. And with all the wrestlers that come over here, I just don't think he's on anybody's wish list. Like,
no, not really. I think we've
maybe
had
blacklist, but not wish list. Like.
Anyway, look, we'll leave it there. We'll get on to the good from the week because, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for. It's been a really good week in the ring and outside as well. We're going to cover one story which didn't happen on the show itself, but you can probably guess what that is if you've been following Irish Wrestling Twitter over the past week. But in at number 6, talk to me about NXT. I don't even know how to say this to know what you have left.
Right, so there was a debut in NXT. A very charismatic musician by the name of Eric Buchenhagen, I think, something like that. You will get used to it because he's gonna be around a lot more, I'd say.
Right.
He's a musician whose instrument of choice is the air guitar and vocals, and his vote, like he can hit the high notes. He came out. Obviously, nobody knows. You know who that is. Nobody knows who that is.
No.
He might have wrestled on the Indies locally or something. I don't know, but he was so charismatic and so entertaining that instantly just the crowd fell in love with him.
Nice.
He lost to Drew Gulak, but no shame in that. It's Drew Gulak. And it was just so fucking good. Like the crowd loved. They did I saw a clip, one of those like kind of online clips that don't actually air on the show, but you see them on social media. Of him doing an encore performance, and the crowd were loving it. They were absolutely loving it, and it was so good. Also, just something I didn't even write down, just popped into my head there. Drew Gulak, he beat Eric, and then he had a match with Matt Riddle afterwards. How the fuck did I forget about this? He had a match with Matt Riddle, who he was teammates with in Evolve, Catchpoint, and it was good. Matt Riddle beat him, and they shook hands afterwards. It was kind of like a little nod to their past and stuff. That was really cool. I forgot about that, but yeah.
I like Drew Gulak being on NXT as well.
Yeah, I think it was only one off just for the Riddle thing. I think that's all that was. But I don't know. I mean, they do that a lot with 205 and NXT kind of mix and stuff. I'm up for it.
So they have Jordan against Noam Dar coming up, 205 against NXT. I think that's on tonight on NXT.
Is Noam Dar still on? Oh, he is, yeah.
I think, but it's a 205 versus NXT UK match. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
shit.
a special feature. Yeah, so that's on tonight.
Hope Jordan kicks the fuck out of him.
But that's cool. That's what you're saying about Buchenhagen. I'm going to guess that they're going to lose to Eric because WWE don't like first names anymore. So I guess we're going to call him Buchenhagen one day.
Is it not surnames? I know it is.
They
first
just
names.
lose, but they just know them by
Eric.
one name. Sheamus is first name, and then Cesaro is second name. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and one tag team actually. Yeah, Jesus. But yeah, I love. That's one of my favorite parts about watching NXT TV, when you see someone click immediately, like Adam Rose, No Way Jose. It's usually musically related. I don't know.
I'm not a No Way Jose fan, but whatever. That's
Well,
fine.
you know, but like he still did click right away, like just catchy team or charisma or whatever.
Adam Rose is a great example though. Did you ever see his rosebuds? And it's like Becky Lynch, Braun Strowman.
yeah.
Just the biggest stars are just in the background, like.
And he's the big loser of it all. like,
Mad. Well, I mean, if I was him, I'd be taking full credit. I'd be like, I gave you your first big break. Even if he didn't, I'd still take credit for it.
now, give me $100, please. Indie buckets are hard to come by. OTT ain't calling. In at number 5, this was. I also loved. Okay, so I watched the Becky storyline that we discussed earlier on, and I was meh. I was like, yeah, like it's great. I figured something like that would happen. It was a bit rough around the edges, if I'm being honest, like, but it's serving the better purpose. You know, it's fine. Then I saw the reaction that you spoke about, and that's why I didn't want to talk much about it either myself. When I saw the reaction, I'm like, this is genius. This is like, whether they meant it to be this good or not, people are getting into this and they're getting pissed. Like, we're still getting responses from the video at the Royal Rumble like 2 weeks later. It's mental. Like,
They're getting worked, actually.
we had someone get on like and be like, hi, Irish friends, help me start a petition because it's disgraceful that Becky is being left out of the WrestleMania main event. And it's
Share that.
people are getting like proper into this, and that's why I love it. And that's why I love the rough around the edges part. Like, in hindsight now, Vince just coming out at the very end, while I thought that's a bit hokey and forced when I watched it, when I see how people reacted to it, I'm like, oh, you literally just gave us like everything we wanted, and then the last second you just took it all away. You literally just stripped it off for us. You pulled it away. So I'm into it. I even like Rousey's response and her motivation, where she like shit talks Charlotte on Insta, and she's like, there's no demand for this match. Vince doesn't care about Rousey against Charlotte. If he did, he would have made us the main event of Survivor Series, and he didn't. And I'm like, oh yeah, you have to give me a bit of depth there. But the best part about Raw, especially for Irish fans, especially for Irish independent wrestling fans, especially like as a Fight Factory alumni, Balor and Becky had a moment. I didn't want to discuss this earlier because it needs to be talked about, and this is awesome. Becky is thinking in the back, and they had loads of people come up to her. They had Rousey come up to her and kind of be like, do the smart thing. Even if you don't mean it, just say you're sorry, because this match is their match. We're going to main event WrestleMania. Cop the fuck on. You had Alexa be like, I don't think you should apologize. And Becky's like, you're just trying to take my spot. And she's like, whatever. But then you had Becky sitting in the back, and then Balor comes up and he's like, look, it's tough. No one knows what's going on in your shoulders, but you know it. You're this, you're that. And he gives her a little pep talk, and then you're like, Balor did train Becky. Like, that's her trainer talking to her, and we're getting to see it on WWE television when Becky is about to main event WrestleMania. Balor's also fighting for a title at Elimination Chamber this weekend. I'm like, we could get our moment at the end of WrestleMania. We could get our Benoit Guerrero hug it out moment where Balor and Becky both having belts. I'm just saying, like, that's still in play here now. They're after reminding us that Balor and Becky are close. And then even, like, Becky's little sign-off as Balor's walking away, she's just like, you still got great abs.
Wait, what title's Balor going for?
The IC title. He's going against Lashley and Leo Rush. But all I'm saying is, it was great to see Balor and Becky. Regardless of that. Yeah. Let's not get sidetracked. Regardless of that, Balor and Becky were on Raw having the chats as like at pivotal moments in their careers, where they both had huge on the Royal Rumble. They were both featured parts of it. Like, Becky was the Royal Rumble essentially, and Balor was in the Universal title match against Brock Lesnar. That's fucking cool.
Also, what's cool, just to go back to the storyline for a sec, is how like there's so much to it. As you said, there's a lot of depth. Like, everyone's pissed because Charlotte is taking Becky's moment, but this all started because Becky took Charlotte's moment at SummerSlam. How fucking cool is that?
No, Charlotte took Becky's moment at SummerSlam as well.
Yeah, but like, Charlotte, did she win?
Becky won the number 1 contendership, and then Charlotte came back from injury and saved Becky, but then got put into the match.
Oh fuck yeah!
As a
I'm
triple
talking
threat.
shit.
But that still works because that's what's happened again. Like Charlotte always gets added into the match because she's the person WWE wants to shoehorn in. It's brilliant. It's WrestleMania 30 all over again. And the best part about it is the more this happens and the more they stack it up against Becky, the more we're like, Becky's winning. Like, it's happening. Like, we know it's going to happen. And we're going to be in fucking buskers for it. Like,
Stop. I'm so excited for WrestleMania.
It's going to be absolutely fucking jammed, like. And we're going to get it with that ending, like. It's going to be perfect. I cannot wait. In at number 4, let's talk about SmackDown. And this would have been higher if... Do you know the way, like, Raw and SmackDown sometimes, like, you see something good happen on Raw, and then they're like, oh, by the way, just going back to Raw, because I know you'll like this, Rude and Gable lost the belts.
Yeah.
To the Revival.
Like
yeah,
it.
so I
very much like that.
I knew you'd be a fan of that.
Did you see the Shatter Machine, by the way? Oh, the fuck, you didn't see it?
No.
Oh, it was like, I think it was Gable, ran up to the top turnbuckle, jumped off, caught in the Shatter Machine, and that was it. Done.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I did. Yeah, sorry.
Slick.
I just didn't know the name of the move.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But yeah, let's go back to SmackDown. Do you know the way Raw and SmackDown sometimes, there'd be a good idea on Raw, and then SmackDown did the exact same thing. It was kind of like that because they replayed the Gauntlet match from Seth Rollins last year as part of like a build-up to the promo that we discussed. And then they did a gauntlet match on SmackDown for like who's number 6, who's going to be the 6th participant led into the Elimination Chamber, and they basically just redid it with Kofi Kingston. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it does lose marks because it's like you saw Raw and thought, oh yeah, well just do that, because he did the exact same thing. He stayed in, I think, for an hour, and it was pretty much like all of SmackDown, like the second half of SmackDown was just this gauntlet match. But it was really cool because him and Daniel Bryan started it off. And then like they had a full-on 20-minute match, like, and they had Eric Rowan at ringside, and then they had the New Day in the other corner. Rowan was interfering, but then the New Day got pissed off and they attacked Rowan, but then the New Day got fucked off to the back, and then eventually Rowan interfered again, and then Rowan got sent off to the back, and then you're like, right, Bryan's probably going to win this because that just seems the way the back and forth momentum, like the match works out to Bryan's winning. Kofi had Trouble in Paradise, pins the WWE champion, Bryan's gone first. You're like, holy fucking shit, that's ballsy. Kofi fucking Kingston. But the way they booked it as well, it's not like, do you know the way when you have like, they did this with Rey Mysterio, where Rey Mysterio lost every non-title match he was in while he was the champion, and you're like, oh, they're just fucking ruining it, like, because he's small. Like, they're just like, oh, he's not big enough to be the champion, and doing that whole WWE trope. But no, this was done brilliantly in that it was like Kofi just got him with a lucky hit and just managed to get the 3 count. So Bryan doesn't look weak as a result of it, but Kofi got to get that huge win. And Kofi is obviously replacing Mustafa Ali, who's injured. So they needed to, and he was thrown in last minute, so they needed to give him something. He ended up beating Samoa Joe later. He beat Jeff Hardy. He beat everyone before AJ Styles came out. AJ and him had a good match, back and forth, and then AJ got the win. He ended up tapping him out. Kofi's body just gave out. And then the finish of the match was literally AJ's kind of checking on Kofi to see if he's injured because he's after lasting an hour. And then Orton's music hit. Orton comes from behind, hits the RKO, 1, 2, 3. I'm like, brilliant heel move. Brilliant. That's fantastic. After all that build, Orton comes in, very last, one move. That's it.
So, did that order who's coming out?
No, Orton is 6th, but the rest is random.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Orton's last, and he's after nicking at the death, and it was just great heel work, because I'm like, you've got us so invested in this thing, and then, it just ended in 3 seconds. Like, that's so unfulfilling, but that's what heel heat is. Anyway, in at number 3, talk to me. You've been bigging this up off, Mike, so let's talk about the good from Impact.
Right, so, for me, I don't care. I know New Japan had a big show. I don't care. This was match of the week. And
okay.
I say this as someone who, it was spoiled on me, which, as you know, ruins matches for me. And the result went a way that hurt me. But still, LAX versus Lucha Bros. Oh my fucking god, man. Oh my god. This is like, and you know how good their previous matches were. This is the best match they've had. And it was in Mexico as well, so it's obviously like Lucha Bros country and stuff, and like, it was just really fucking good. And it's on free, like it's free TV as well. It's a free TV match, and it's like, this is probably the best Impact match in fuck knows how long. Do you know what I mean? It's just so good.
Nice.
Yeah, Lucha Bros won, so they're new champions. And I'm assuming it'll lead to a rematch down the line. Hopefully, unless RVD and Sabu pick up that win. I don't know. Oh, we laugh. We don't know. We never know. And I'm very scared.
Impact.
I'm very scared. But yeah, no, it was great.
Is there anywhere you can check it out, like the usual online sources? They didn't upload it to YouTube or anything like that you know
I don't think so. I mean, the GWN has it it's a delay, so it's like 2 weeks after or something like that.
I'm sure you can find it at the usual places. If you watch Impact, you'll
find it, you know.
Yeah, there you go. In at number 2, I'm not saying this is better than that, but significance-wise, it has to go. And it's not even the best thing of the week. We're going to get to that. But in at number 2, New Japan, New Beginning in Osaka. These shows have not been great. They've been fine. They've been treading water, but it feels like a New Japan house show because they're missing the AEW stars. There's no Omega, there's no Young Bucks, there's no Cody, there's no nothing. There's kind of confusion about what direction it's going like. So they needed something big and they needed something to hook us back in. Well, they did that. Now, whether it's the right call or something that's embarrassing, let's let time decide that. But it's certainly a ballsy call. Tanahashi wrestling Switchblade Jay White for the IWGP title. They've been building this up for months. We've been talking about the Switchblade feud for months on low blows at this stage. Beat Okada, of course, in 14 minutes in the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom. Okada never loses in the Tokyo Dome. That's like beating fucking Undertaker at WrestleMania, and he beat him in 14 minutes. That's fucking mental. So you're like, right, they're doing something with Jay White, but Tanahashi won the IWGP Heavyweight title. This is his, last run. He's been saying that, and he's the John Cena, you know what I mean? So it's like, they're going to want to make this significant. He's not going to lose it on his first title defense. So, but Switchblade, is on such a run of momentum that it kind of shits on him if he loses too. So how's this way going to go? They had a good match. It wasn't a great match, but then, out of nowhere, similar to the Okada finish, it's not like, you know the way New Japan main events, they'll do this, they'll do a normal match for 20 minutes, and they'll do another 20 minutes of false finishes and whatnot, where you're just like, I don't know what's going to happen. At WWE, you can kind of keep scores, especially if you know what you're looking for. You can keep score of the false finishes and be like, all right, he's winning. Because just the way you're building it. But with New Japan, you don't know because they do the extended things. They didn't do that. Out of nowhere, Switchblade just hit his finisher. Boom. 1, 2, 3. We've a new IWGP Heavyweight Champion. It is fucking mental. There's a stat. I think it's the first time in, 8 years that one of Okada, Tanahashi, Omega, Naito, or AJ Styles haven't held the belt. Switchblade is like a young gun who's only brought back last year. His first big match was at Wrestle Kingdom 12 as the Switchblade character. And he was a young boy previously before that, so he was just kind of a trainee who jobbed out to everyone, went an excursion, brought back on the Switchblade. So that's very quickly to fast forward him to the main event. But they need, if Kenny Omega isn't coming back, they need someone to kind of represent the kind of American and international kind of. They need an English-speaking kind of champion, or at least main eventer. So it's you could a lot of people saw it coming, or not saw it coming, but were very split because there was that 50-50 element to it.
I called it, just saying.
but to do it is a whole other story because it's a fucking big deal. Again. We spoke about Switchblade a lot on this show, and the thing with it is that his character and the theory behind it and the storyline they've given him with Ghetto in his corner, it's very the thing that's great is that it harkens back to Okada's first title reign, and it was almost identical circumstances. Okada was Ghetto's guy. Ghetto introduced him as the next big thing, but we're like, okay, I'm not sure how to feel about this yet, and then he challenges Tanahashi randomly on New Year's Dash, and it's at the New Beginning shows, I think it was, that he ended up, they just had a title match very like this, where it's he's not going to beat Tanahashi, and he beat him. The person Switchblade's feuding with right now, Okada, as well as Tanahashi. So they're setting that up with Okada's old manager in Switchblade's corner. So there's a lot to like about it. The problem we've had with Switchblade in the past, or at least I've had, is that he's not that 5-star wrestler, which is important in New Japan, because that's why you go to New Japan, because you want to see that amazing match that's going to have everyone talking. Switchblade hasn't really had many of them. He had probably the best match at Wrestle Kingdom, but it was the best match because Okada came back as the Rainmaker and still lost, and it was kind of booked to be the best match, and it was so shocking that that's what made it entertaining rather than it was a really well-worked match. So it's kind of like putting the biggest belt they have on someone who's an unknown commodity. So again, this is something that we could be like Fandango beating Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. You're like, why'd you do that, guys? It could be that, or it could be something that's like Okada. Like, that was really good business, great foresight. We didn't see it, but now we see it. You know what I mean? But the fascinating thing is that we're very conscious of this as it's happening. Do you know what I mean? We're like, this could be a disaster or it could be great, and we get to follow it along like that. So, which makes New Japan instantly compelling from that standpoint. So, if you're looking to follow New Japan, you want to know what's coming up next. Start of March, 6th of March, you have the 47th anniversary show. Not always the biggest show, more of a ceremonial type show, like a Raw 25 or something like that. You know what I mean? And then they've got the New Japan Cup, which is to decide the challenger for Switchblade's title at, I think it's the MSG show on WrestleMania weekend. It's just an 8-man tournament, single knockout. You get the odd great match at it, but New Japan need this to be a big deal now because they are kind of resetting. Another cool thing to happen at New Beginning, though, Kota Ibushi came out by surprise in plain clothes, still concussed after the Will Ospreay match at Wrestle Kingdom, and just said he's staying in New Japan, which is very interesting because it's like the Golden Lovers. What's going to happen there? We never got that big fucking match. Like, what the fuck is going to go on? We probably will get it. Like, they probably are going to come back and it'll be sorted. But Kota Ibushi staying, so he's someone that you have to look out for as a dark horse for the New Japan Cup. New Japan have had difficulty with Kota Ibushi in the past because he's never actually committed to them beforehand. This is probably the biggest commitment that he's ever made to New Japan. This is why you've never seen him be the champion or anything like that. Because he's never made that contractual commitment, but now he's committed to them above going to AEW and all the money that they have and Kenny Omega and all that kind of stuff. So could he finally get a run at the top? We don't know, but a lot of stuff to be interested in. New Japan Cup takes place after, like almost immediately afterwards. It starts on the 8th of March, finishes on the 24th, so definitely worth keeping an eye on if you have your New Japan World subscription. We'll of course be talking about it here on Low Blows. But in at number 1. It's not even from the ring. What could be outside the ring that is better than a new IWGP Heavyweight Champion? Tanahashi's last reign ended prematurely. What could be better? It's from OTT. And it's the Devlin Starr video. Absolute genius work. Sean Ryan, Crooked Gentleman. I think he's just gone by Sean Ryan now. Magnificent. People are calling this the best professional wrestling hype video ever. Would you say so?
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, like, he's just the best of what he does, and I love it. And I've said it before. Video packages are my favorite thing in wrestling. So when someone gets it right, I'm like, it's so good. I even saw like some of the tweets where like, when's Devlin and Starr? When's Devlin and Starr going on Netflix? When's fucking there's just all these other ones, and it's just like everyone loves it.
It was a movie. That's why people are saying that. Like, it was like a mini movie.
It's a movie. That's not even like. I mean, that was just a trailer though.
Yeah.
The movie's like, and that's not even like for. That's not Devlin Walter 2 either. That's just. This is a trailer for a match. That's like
the number 1 contenders match.
That's for another match. I mean, so I'm so excited like for these next few months. Like, it's gonna be great.
I have to say, there are elements of OTT that I'm not as connected with and wouldn't have been in previous years, just as a fan. But Devlin, Walter, Starr, everything they're doing there is possibly the best thing in professional wrestling right now. That's amazing. Like, they have the best thing in professional wrestling for me at the moment. It's like the best storyline, the thing I'm most invested in, the thing everyone who's following in is most invested in. You know, and that's with Becky Lynch possibly main eventing WrestleMania. That's no small feat. Like, with AEW going on, and yet over here on this little small island, our big local indie is producing possibly the best content. Like, that's fucking amazing.
I'm so excited. I don't even know what to say. You know what I mean? I'm just so fucking excited. I'm so happy, and it's gonna be great.
Well, that's this weekend in the National Basketball Stadium in Tala.
Yes.
And of course, Walter Pack is the main event. Also,
no, I don't think so. I'm assuming Devlin Starr is the main event.
You think?
Yeah, because Walter Pack's not for the title.
Isn't it?
No. Why would Pac get a title shot?
Oh yeah, I suppose.
In the middle of all this.
If Devlin has to work that hard, I suppose. But
no, but they've also like advertised that it'll be Walter versus either Devlin or Starr.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I thought that was one of the things where it's like, you spoiled your main event.
no, I think it's a non-title match.
Right, fair
But
enough.
even that, I mean, that should be pretty good. Oh, there's another Terry Thatcher. I feel is gonna win that gender neutral title. There's like a couple of other things in that show, like the cage match and all. What was announced today? I think it was Raven Creed versus you.
Yeah, the cage matches they have Kings of the North against
Session Mott and Austin Flats.
Yes. So there's that too.
There's another match. I can't fucking remember because I'm tired.
Is there another cage match?
No, not another cage match.
Sorry.
Another match that in particular I'm looking forward to. It'll come back to me. I'll scream it out when you're talking about something else.
Okay, excellent. Well, also still on the radar, before we get to the National Basketball Arena, Fight Factory are back. The much anticipated return. I said it on Twitter today. In 2018, we made a lot of big promises. We said the 2018, like I personally said as the GM, I said what our goal was in 2018 was we were going to bridge the gap. You know about Fight Factory's history. Fight Factory's history is going to be in the main event of Wrestle fucking Mania coming up shortly. Becky Lynch, Finn Balor, the school that brought you, Jordan Devlin, the people that the backdrop, the people that have been churning out the best young wrestling talent for nearly 2 decades now. Last year, when talking about Fight Factory, I said that the goal was to kind of not shed our history. We want to celebrate our history, but we want to pass it over to the future, and that's exactly what you got at episode 6. You got Valkyrie beating one of NXT UK's top dogs, Jordan Devlin, clean in the middle of the ring to become the new Irish Junior Heavyweight Champion. I think that was a passing the torch moment in more than one way. That was the past of Fight Factory, handing it over to the future of Fight Factory. And this week in the Big Sean, this Friday at episode 7, what we are going to do is we are going to give the time to the future now. The past is gone. We are not talking about that anymore. We are focusing purely on the future, because guess what? Even without Jordan Devlin, we were still selling out. Episode 5 still sold out without Jordan Devlin. Still packed out the Big Sean. Episode 4 without Jordan Devlin, still packed out the Big Sean. We don't need to rest in our laurels now. Our roster is that strong, and we have a hell of a card for Love Grasps Accuracy on Friday night. Now, obviously, as the GM, it would be unbecoming of me to give predictions myself, so we're going to turn to Corporate Keane.
Shit, I didn't even know we were doing predictions for this.
Don't worry.
I'll do it though.
We're going to turn to Corporate Keane, and we're going to discuss the cards that we've announced so far, and see who you think is going to win. So first off, we need to name new number 1 contenders for the Tag Team Championships. You have Club Rock Shandy, you have the Enterprise, and you have Big Rob and Justin Daniels. Big Rob and Justin Daniels, I know you've got a personal affinity towards them, but try put your biases aside. Who do you see being the next to step up to, we assume, more than Hype's Irish Tag Team titles, but who knows?
Well, we assume.
Who knows? Who knows?
Oh shit. Right, so the Enterprise, I mean, it could be, but then you look at the Enterprise and you see what they're doing outside of Fight Factory. Are they teaming together everywhere else? No. I mean, Luke Cullen, he's gone one way, and Liam Royal seems to going another way, you know, so I don't know. I just feel something could be there. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be them. But then Club Rock Shandy, they've done it before, and they had their title match, and I feel like when somebody's had that title shot and they've reached the top of the mountain almost, I feel like the other teams want it more because they've never experienced it, and they feel like they have a point to prove. They look across the ring and they say, you had your chance and you fucked it up, we won't fuck it up, and then they get really, you know, really into it.
Yeah.
Justin Daniels is a big grab. I just feel, yeah, I mean, it's probably going to have to be them.
Wild cards.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It's their debut on an episode show as a team. And fuck it, I think they're going to do it. I think it's going to be great.
Has there ever been a tag team called the Wildcards?
The Wild Cats.
No, the Wildcards. That's a good name for a tag team. I'm just saying. I'm not going to they get to name themselves. I'm just saying. I'm throwing it out there, lads.
I think they should be called DX.
Now it's time to decide who will face them as the Irish Tag Team Champions. Nathan Martin and Darren Kearney, more than Hype, take on in a match that I booked just because, fuck it, take on the mid-card Mafia. They've been asking for, look, they've been going around, they made their debut on episode 6, they actually interrupted myself and Phil and Be Cool in the ring, and Owen Richards as well, and then kind of made their statements, and like they want to be noticed, they want to get, they're pooling their resources, feeling underappreciated, so do you know what, I said, a lot of times it'd be like work your way up to the top. I'm like, no, we're going to give you the title match. No, show us what you can do. So we're giving them their match. So they're taking on more than Hype. Do you think that there could be an upset here? We could have new tag team champions.
I wouldn't rule out the mid-card Mafia, but I think what's important is who's stepping up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what combo do you want to see? Because there's 4 of them.
Like, that's a tough
you have
one.
Dom Tuck, you have Connor Day, you have Troy Mendes, and you have Devin West.
Fuck, that is a tough one. Because, I mean, Dom Tuck is Dom Tuck. I don't think any explanation's needed. Connor Day is king of the Battle Royal. It's not a Battle Royal, though. Do you know what I mean? But if it was, you'd want him in there easily. But it's not. So I don't know. You know what I mean? You got Devin West, who I believe has never been pinned.
He's undefeated.
Undefeated in wrestling, ever. No one's ever beaten Devin West.
Nope.
And that's a fact. And then you got Troy Mendes, who's a serious fucking talent. I pitched for him to be against Bobby Guns and Avalanche and Lucky Kid in a gauntlet match, Iron Man gauntlet match, and it was shot down. I feel like it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, I shot down very quickly.
Obviously, Troy Mendes is extortionate fucking wages. I get that, but like still, for me, I don't know. That's it's hard to give a prediction until you know.
What combo would you like to see if you had to pick?
I can't. I just can't. You know what I mean? I just can't. Like they've got their own strengths and weaknesses, and it's kind of like there's no wrong answer though. I suppose is what I should.
And here's the thing as well: do you have to take into account the fact that if there's 2 of them on the apron, there's also going to be 2 on the outside.
Exactly. They're not, like no matter who you pick, they're all going to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's essentially a 4-on-2 handicap match. They're going to use the numbers game to their advantage, but I do think that more than Hype probably have what it takes to get the job done in the end, but I think it'll be harder than people realise.
Okay, interesting. Moving on, we have Dimitri Krakovic, one of the people that everyone's saying is the next big thing, the future of Irish wrestling. Well, it's time to prove that. This is exactly what we're doing with Fight Factory. We're putting the future against the past and seeing if they overcome it, because if Dimitri Krakovic is going to be the future, then he has to step up to challenges and he has to overcome them. He's taken on one of the legends of the Irish wrestling scene, one of the best talents to ever come out of it, and not just like someone who's like an old-timer and past it, someone who is still to this day possibly the most naturally gifted athlete on the Irish wrestling scene, the one and only Sean Guinness. It's going to be an absolute belter of a match, but can Dimitri do it?
Oh shit, I'm really sure prepare these, like I'm so split on a lot of these matches. I feel Dimitri, I think he might pull off an upset. This is one of those upsets where I'm like, I think it could happen. But Sean Guinness, he's up there with fucking Devlin. You know what I mean? Sean Guinness is genuinely the most underrated wrestler in Europe, and
went hold for hold with Doug Williams at episode 6.
Yeah. But then Krakovic, I just feel I think Sean Guinness is probably overlooking him, and I think Krakovic, there's so much potential that we don't even see. You know what I mean? This man's fearless. He was raised on the streets of Serbia. He has seen shit that we have not seen. And he's fearless.
Are you sure that, is Serbia that bad? He could have been raised in a really nice estate.
In the 90s? I'm assuming it's 90s. I don't know how
that's
how
a good
old
point,
he is.
actually, yeah.
Yes.
There's
kind of a war.
He doesn't speak English, so you don't talk to him
I think
much,
he can speak English, he just chooses not to.
Maybe just to me.
Yeah. I'll try to politely say that, but, let's get out of there. He just doesn't want to talk to you. Me and him have the chats all the time, actually. That's how I know about this. He's talking about
Quite
Serbia.
Fluent,
Yeah, we don't talk about Serbia. It's
He's
fun.
very good on
Serbian
history.
I do think he's going to pull off an upset. I think we're going to see some things that we just don't expect.
Okay.
And it's going to be interesting.
Okay. Main event time. Valkyrie, we spoke about it there. First ever women's Irish Junior Heavyweight Champion, making history, making waves, getting pep talks from Becky fucking Lynch over Christmas. She has been building it up, but she's also been soaking it in. You have to wonder if the Rocky Tree effect is going to take effect, and she's going to start enjoying the limelight, kind of basking in the glow of being the champion, or if she's going to get right back to work and she's going to work as hard and show that desire that saw her overcome Jordan Devlin at Grapple Games to win the championship, if she's going to be able to channel that, because she's going to absolutely need to. She is facing a triple threat match in the main event as a challenge for her Irish Junior Heavyweight Champion. She's taking on LJ Cleary and Michael May, two of the most gifted athletes in Ireland today, possibly in Irish wrestling history. Two people who came up together, two people who have tagged together, but two people who we saw at Grapple Games were at odds with each other. LJ and May, who is taking the gold?
LJ.
It's always
easy.
LJ.
That was actually the easiest prediction so far, I'd say.
It's always LJ.
Yeah, I mean, I could understand why people would predict Valkyrie, and I can understand why people might predict Michael May, but for me, LJ he's the longest reigning Irish Junior Heavyweight Champion in history, and that's not something that can be overlooked. This, Warden Hype as a trio have been fucking taking over this place, do you know what I mean? They got booked in ICW recently.
Yes,
they're getting booked in IPW. They're getting booked, all over the place, all over the UK, all over Europe. And I feel like, it's a very, very quick ascent for these lads, and it's that case for a reason. And this is why I don't think, as much as I love upsets, I don't think Nathan and Darren are going to lose to Mid-Card Mafia either, because I think Morton Hype are almost untouchable right now. All three members, and I just feel like Valkyrie and Michael, if they want to beat LJ, they're going to have to step it up. Obviously, it's a triple threat, so you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, the champion doesn't have to be pinned, LJ doesn't have to be pinned, nobody has to be like, well actually, some people have to be pinned.
Someone does eventually have to be pinned.
But I mean, like...
The show will end at some point.
But, you know what I'm trying to say. You can't predict a triple threat as easily. But I'm confident in LJ when it comes to winning this match, and that's my prediction. Okay,
interesting. Another thing to watch out for as well, like a lot of it was spoken about on social media after Valkyrie won, Irish Wrestling's power couple. We saw that photo of Valkyrie with the belt beside the photo of LJ with the belt, you know what I mean? There's that element too, like, how will that play a factor? Will they just rip each other's head off? Will they just, like, have an interest, an agreement for this match? Like, obviously, they're both competitors first and, like, partners afterwards. They wouldn't get to where they've gotten to without that kind of...
There's no friends once you step in that ring, you know what I mean? No, it doesn't matter. I feel, temporary alliances form, but how do you know they're not, one of them's actually going to go, all right, Michael, how about me and you? When they think we're a team and we're going to, attack this lad. Do you know what I mean? So they could go behind each other's back, and I don't know. For me, I just think I don't even think there will be temporary alliances in this match. I think everyone, because it's such a prized title. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like nobody can trick the other person and say, "Oh yeah, let's be a team. We'll work together." I think everybody can see through that.
This is it. But also, these are three best mates. These are three people who know each other inside out. So they're not going to be able to just trick. It's going to be like, hey, LJ.
Exactly. They know what they're in for.
They know each other's poker faces. They know everything about each other. And that's what will make this absolutely fascinating.
So, I'm going with LJ. You're not making a prediction? You want to be a professional?
I'm the GM. I booked it all. I can't.
You booked the match. We know who's going to win.
Yeah, well, anyway, look, speaking of things that we booked. Moving on. Speaking of things that we booked, we need to talk before next week, because after all of that wrestling, you have we host our own show. That great wrestling, that fantastic stuff, that top of the line stuff that's getting both Ireland and like the world talking, like Fight Factory and OTT. Then it's like because me and Keane. Keane's dead.
No, when you said earlier that this little island's producing the best wrestling, we were talking about courage. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, me and Keane we're gonna come along. We're gonna ruin it all.
Yeah.
We're gonna ruin it all. We're gonna take all the happy memories that you accrue this weekend, and we're gonna take a big shit on them.
This weekend is cancelled. Is what I'm trying to say. Everything's cancelled.
February 23rd in the Button Factory. We're joking when we say that we're ruining wrestling, because the real goal is for one night only. We're gonna take some of the unsung heroes of the Irish talent, some of the unsung heroes of the Irish team, some of the hardest working and best wrestlers who may not be getting a look in elsewhere. We're gonna take them. We're gonna put them on a card in Dublin City, an over 18s card, give them a shot that they haven't gotten before, and we're gonna bring over some of WXW's finest talent, and we're gonna pit them off against each other in a one night only show, completely alternative to anything you've seen before in many ways. It's gonna be like, basically, you hear Corporate Keane on Low Blows every week. You hear that he's got kind of a different look. He's got a different outlook on wrestling to the rest of us. We're looking at, what if we saw the wrestling world through Corporate Keane's eyes for one night? So it's going to be mental. There's going to be a bit of everything, and like I say, we're going for something that's completely different to what's out there already. It's like a pilot show, because it's just one night. We'll see how it goes from there, if we're going to go ahead. But we're like, if you've been to a Courage Wrestling show before, basically what we're doing is we're doing a hard reset on everything, and we're just starting again from the start. There'll be some stuff from before that we continue on, but basically we're just doing a hard reset, and we're going to be starting again with a new vision. And we have, whatever else it is, it's a strong vision for what we have. We have like months worth of plans if it comes to that, or we have a fantastic show lined up on the night. Low blows are interesting. Tickets are available on eventbrite.ie. We're going to be talking through that more in depth next week, but just to run down the card, Luther Valentine against Alexander Dean, the match that got Twitter talking for a day, and Irish Wrestling Twitter, Phil Boyd and Justy ripping the piss out of me and Dean. I checked my phone after last week's show and just saw them ripping the piss out of everything. Marion Armstrong today came out because I put up a tweet saying I feel like everyone's sleeping on the fact that we booked Okada, which we'll get to in a second, and then Marion Armstrong's like, yeah, because no one wants to see Dean take credit for getting the contact. But yeah, Luther Valentine against Alexander Dean. We've got Tucker against WXW's own Avalanche. It kind of Tucker, we've seen him win, like he's undefeated in Courage, and he's faced a lot of different tests, but he's facing an absolute monster in Avalanche. We've got Retro Galactic against a Nightmare Edition in a match. Retro Galactic very publicly shitting themselves over, and rightfully so. It's going to be a long night for you guys. We've got Club Rock Shandy. This is going to be an absolute belter. I cannot sell this enough. Club Rock Shandy take on Matt Schuyler and Lucky Kid. Matt Schuyler joining Rise for one night only, I believe. So we're going to have that there, going to tear the roof off the Button Factory. The Bobby Guns Open Challenge. He is Bobby Guns, and he's taking on one of the Irish scene's young guns. We don't know, still to be determined who it's going to be, but he wants to face the absolute best, so we're going to go out of our way to give it to him. And then this week we announced the first time ever we're going to have a Floodgate match. Keane, for those who didn't see the video you put out, quickly explain what exactly a Floodgate match is.
Okay, so it starts off. It's a singles match between two people, and then
we can say that J Money and
it's J Money, Marion Armstrong in this case. So J Money, Marion Armstrong are going to be fighting each other, and if they don't get a win I don't want to give an exact time, but if they don't get a win very quickly, you know what I mean, we'll give them a little bit of time. But if I don't see any pins or any submissions, if it's not over, the floodgates will open. We're just going to put a countdown on the screen, and a new wrestler's going to come out, and it's going to be a triple threat. And if nobody wins a triple threat in a relatively quick amount of time, I'm going to say fuck it, and then we'll bring out another wrestler, and we'll make it a fatal four-way just for a crack. Why not? And then we'll do it again, and again, and again. And
there could be like 50 wrestlers. If there's not a winner,
it could be a 50-way.
Here's the thing, it gets more difficult to win the more people enter.
It's one fall to a finish, so wrestlers will be breaking up each other's pins, breaking up each other's submissions, you know, so you'd want to get the win pretty quickly if I were you, just saying. Good luck to both of them.
So we're not announcing who we have for the rest, who we have on
we
standby.
Don't have anyone, that's the thing.
Because that's the thing, it's on standby, like, for, you know, if it gets to that point. But we can announce one name that we do have if it gets to a certain point.
Yeah, Okada seems keen on proving a point by coming to Courage. I mean, because that's where you prove your point. You know what I mean? Like New Japan, it's all right. But I mean, would you rather wrestle in the Tokyo Dome or the Button Factory? Exactly. So Okada's he's coming over, but he's got a very strict clause in his contract, so he won't be entering until later on.
New Japan contracts are really difficult to deal with.
He's locked in. He's got all these conditions, but we sorted it out, so that should go well.
The clause is if it gets to 9 people in the ring and becomes a 9-way. Then you get Okada. That we can give away. If it gets to 9 people, I guarantee you Okada will come out. I promise you 100% certainty that if there are 9 people in this match, Okada will be one of them.
I mean, you just have to think how possible that is. You know what I mean? 9 people. I mean, that's just 1 after 8, isn't it? Which is 1 after 7. Which is 1 after 6. Which is 1 after, so I mean, it's really not that far away.
So tickets on Eventbrite.ie, that's on Saturday week.
It's just the Elimination Chamber plus 3. I mean, that's not that many, you know what I mean? To do the maths.
And minus the chamber. And the elimination. It's 1 fall. There's no DQs though, so there's that. And guys, we've 1 more match left to announce. We're trying to work that with the health and safety officer as we speak, so we'll see how that goes. We hope to announce in the next day or 2. So stay tuned for that online. We'll be discussing that much more next week. No, but finally, after that mental weekend, what better way to end it all than Monday? You're fucking wrecked after wrestling. What better way than just come down, chill out? Because look, you're going to be wrecked by
more fucking wrestling.
By the time you get home from the National Basketball Arena, you're going to be wrecked. You're going to want your bed. Trekking home from Tala as well at that late time at night, you're going to want your bed. So stay in bed. Go to sleep. have a nice rest. Get a lie on the next morning. Or if you got to go to work, go to work. That's fine. Then come down to Buskers Monday night, because No Spoiler Monday is returning for Elimination Chamber. We just announced today we will have the return of the pool Elimination Chamber. That is a pool version of the Elimination Chamber. You probably could have guessed that, though. And we're going to be airing it all in full on Buskers. Party starts 6 p.m. Pay-per-view starts at 7, so you'll be able to get home for last bus. Just avoid spoilers. Come down at a reasonable time. No Temple Bar prices on drink, and have the crack. They're always great. More intimate than the big parties, but that's kind of why we like it, because it's literally like you're hanging out with your mates, except you have a Temple Bar fucking pub and all the resources therein to enjoy it. So we're going to go through the card, because we'll have our prediction contest back on Facebook this Friday. We're going to give our picks now, starting with the Cruiserweight Championship. Buddy Murphy defends against Akira Tozawa. I haven't been following 205 Live. Have you been watching any of it?
Yeah, Buddy Murphy, absolute unit, especially at 205. And in order to beat him, you need to be as strong as him, or at the very least be the quickest guy on 205 Live to combat his strength. And Akira Tozawa isn't that guy. So for me, Buddy Murphy 100% is gonna win.
I just don't see. Yeah, like Buddy Murphy's been kind of a dominant champion. I just don't see Tozawa as being the guy to stop him. I think there needs to be someone big, like a coup for 205 Live, to kind of justify taking the belt off Buddy, because he's putting on great matches and he's good in the role. He can talk, he can do everything you need from a champion. There needs to be someone that compels you to it, and there's not at the moment. Tozawa's a placeholder, so yeah, I see Buddy Murphy as well. In the main card, I'm not sure if that's in the pre-show, because there's only 7.
It is in the pre-show, yeah.
So, main card, Braun Strowman takes on Baron Corbin. Is there any other way than a Braun Strowman victory?
I don't see it. You know what I mean? They're both two wrestlers that have kind of the same strengths and same weaknesses, except Braun is better at those particular strengths. Do you know what I mean? He's bigger, he's stronger, he's more powerful. I mean, could you imagine Baron Corbin getting Braun in a deep 6 or end of days? I just can't picture it. So for me, it's easily Braun Strowman. Yeah,
and I think this could be short as well. I see Braun winning this all day, every day. SmackDown Tag Team titles on the line. The Miz and Shane McMahon defend against the Usos. This would be an interesting one for Keen Fab.
You see, on the Usos' worst day, I still can't imagine them losing the Miz and Shane.
Ooh.
But I said that about the Bar. I don't know how they managed to pull it off, but they did pull it off. I just see their luck running out here. I just don't see... Like, the Usos, to me, are quite possibly the best tag team in the world. Miz and Shane are just not on that level. You know what I mean? Like, if it was the Usos versus the Revival, I'd be like, oh, I don't know, maybe this, maybe that. You know, the Usos versus the Young Bucks, I'd be like, okay, maybe this, maybe that. But I just... It's the Miz and Shane McMahon. Like what? Like, can Shane McMahon hold his own in there against Jay and Jimmy? Like, I can't imagine that.
He held his own against The Undertaker at WrestleMania before. Like, he's not bad. Like,
he's not, but he's
not good either.
Like, he's not active enough to be. I just don't think he's going to be. I just see the Usos walking out.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm like, right, how does this lead to Mania? Because that's the way we've got to think. Remember, we've also got Fastlane in between as well, so there's that too. So I think The Miz is facing Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. I think that's the way it's going to play out, which means that they're probably not good. Miz and Shane are probably not going to walk into WrestleMania as champions, though they could have the Raw tag titles defended. Instead, they don't have to have every championship defended on Mania, because that's like 10 matches alone.
Yeah, but it's Mania.
But you don't need every title, because then there's 10 matches and then you've got your grudge matches on top. Like, you know what I mean? So, I don't know.
Well, what advantages?
I see this ending with Shane turning on Miz. Miz going in and facing Daniel Bryan as the babyface champion, with maybe Shane as special guest referee or something along those lines. Because Shane and Bryan obviously have history. Miz and Bryan have history. We've never seen it the other way around, though, with Miz as the face and Bryan as the heel. That's the way I see WrestleMania playing out. I see that being set up a Fastlane in possibly a number one contender situation. So I'm going to go for the Usos to win here, to set all that up and lead to that.
Yeah, I mean, like what advantages do Miz and Shane have over the Usos? You know what I mean? There's nothing there. I just can't see it.
Yeah, charisma.
No. No. Well,
The Miz.
The Miz.
Come on.
But don't underestimate the Usos' charisma.
They do have good charisma, yeah.
And they have chemistry. You know what I mean?
The chemistry. It's all about the chemistry with the tag teams.
So many reasons why the Usos should, on paper, beat Miz and Shane.
Yeah, look, I agree. So I'm going to go to Usos. Moving on. Intercontinental title on the line. We said it earlier this week that we were like, we didn't get to celebrate Finn Balor winning the Universal title of the Rumble. Will we get to celebrate him in Buskers on Monday night winning the Intercontinental title? He takes on Lashley and Leo Rush in a handicap match with the title on the line.
I think so. I think Balor's an underdog going in. And it's weird because I feel like both men, especially Lashley, I see going on to becoming world champion, but I just feel in this match, I just think that Balor has the technical ability and the experience to overcome Lashley's strengths, which is obviously his power and physical strength. Along with Leo Rush as well, he's got the numbers advantage, but I just feel like Balor has his number on this one, and I think Balor's going to be walking out as champion.
I think so too. I don't think that, like, we see this all the time where someone does well to get like a Universal title shot or a WWE title shot and they don't win, and then they get immediately put into the secondary title, and it's like, we're going to give you this because, you did good in the first one, so well done. I think that's what's happening with Balor here. They love stacking the odds against Balor. They're still very high on him. They had him take it to Brock Lesnar, so they do like Balor, and they want to keep him fresh in their minds. I think he's more important to WWE in the long run than Lashley. I think when you look at Lashley, you're like, he's a utility guy who, on the likes of a Backlash or something like that, can be in the title match at any given stage, but he's not the guy. I think they see Balor as a potential the guy. It's just a case of getting the timing right when it works to build him up that way. So I think Balor's winning here, but I could see it going either way. I could see it being a rematch down the line. I just think I'm going to go Balor here.
But you raised a good point by bringing up Balor versus Lesnar. Do you know what I mean? Lesnar is a very similar compared to Lashley. You know what I mean? When you talk about the size difference and the power and how they win matches, and Balor would have learned lessons in that match. Do you know what I mean? That would have absolutely helped him going into the match against Lashley. So it's interesting. Because, I mean, obviously, you could argue that Lashley could win. Easily, you could argue that Lashley could win. But I just feel that Balor's going to get this one.
The ever-important learned lessons. Always a big theme here when we're doing predictions. Now, this is going to be interesting.
Okay.
You love breaking down a tag team match. You love breaking down the chemistry and all the parts that go into it. We've got 6 women's tag teams, 6 relatively new tag teams. You've got Nia Jax and Tamina, you've got the Riot Squad, you've got the Iconics, you've got Naomi and Carmella, you've got Bayley and Sasha, and you've got Mandy and Sonya. Keep in mind, Bayley and Sasha and Mandy and Sonya both lost matches this week that mean they are the first 2 into the Elimination Chamber. A lot of gauntlet matches on Raw and SmackDown this week. It's in the Elimination Chamber as well. Who does that favour? Who's the chemistry? Who's going to walk out the first ever WWE Women's Tag Team Champions?
So, do you want me to order eliminations, or am I just...
We're going to do that in the contest, but you don't have to do it now. You can just pick a winner if you like.
Okay.
But if it helps your
it
process,
does help, yeah, that's what I was asking. It helps, right. For me, the first team that's out for me straight away, Naomi and Carmella. You look at all the other teams are teams for a reason. You know what I mean? They're teams because they do genuinely care about each other. You know what I mean? Whether you like them or not. Every single team there, they've got chemistry, as we bring up all the time, and there is a genuine care about the team. Naomi and Carmella are in this. I'm sure they get on fine, and I'm sure they have their cups of tea backstage and all that, but they don't care long term about this team. It's more just they want that title for themselves. Say, hey, I achieved this, not we achieved this. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's going to cost them. So, regardless of how early they're out, I just look at them, or how early they're out of their what you call it, the
chamber,
pod. Yeah. Regardless of how what their number is, I just feel like they're the first ones to go.
Okay.
Then, who else we've got? We've got Mandy Rose and Sonya. Yeah, so they're one of the first people in.
Yeah.
I think they'll be second team out then, based off that, as well as again, I just don't think they're
SmackDown doing very poorly so far.
Yeah, Raw has dominant teams. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? It's nobody's fault. I'm not blaming SmackDown, but I mean that's just the way the chips have fallen. Is there another? Oh, there's the Iconics. They're representing SmackDown, right?
Yeah.
For me, next eliminated would be the Riot Squad.
Okay. Interesting.
I could see future champions in the Riot Squad, absolutely, but it's with Ruby there.
Ruby, yeah,
and they don't have that. The Chamber blocks that off, so I feel like when they have to fend for themselves, I just don't see it happening. You know, against opposition like this. And then we're left with Nia Jax and Tamina, Bayley and Sasha, and the Iconics. The Iconics, what I said about Naomi and Carmella earlier, you could say the exact opposite about the Iconics. The Iconics, they care about each other. That's a team that genuinely give a shit. And for me, I think that's going to show. And another thing they're really good at is getting into their opponents' heads. They're very charismatic. They're very good at doing that. That's an underrated aspect of a wrestler's game. For me, though, I don't think they have what it takes tonight, or Sunday night, to get the job done. I feel in future, definitely, but tonight, it's not their night. Then we're left with Nia Jax and Tamina against Bayley and Sasha, and I completely forgot to make a decision on this.
I can go with my logic if you like, and see
Alright,
what you think of that. You can bounce off that. I think they were foreshadowing in what we discussed earlier with Tamina trying to interrupt Nia. I think that was too random, and it's a pre-taped interview. There's no other reason. Like, if that was shit, they would have just gone, that shit, do it again. They meant to do that. Bayley and Sasha, this is what they've been building for the entire time. Now, sometimes that can be better booking when it's like you just keep it off them a bit longer so that people want it. Like, do people really want Bayley and Sasha to win here? Are they up to 10 for that, or can you raise that higher by putting them against a strong heel team like Nia and Tamina? I don't know. I'm talking myself out of it now. I think if you get down to Bayley and Sasha in from the start, Nia and Tamina in at the end, it's a very WWE underdog story. Do I see there being a miscommunication? Do I see WWE doing anything else with Nia and Tamina or keeping them as tag team champions? I'm picking Bayley and Sasha.
You've given me time to think about it. In that time, I came up with another idea. So basically, we saw the Royal Rumble, Nia Jax entering the Men's Rumble, and to me, that showed that when she lost the Rumble, that wasn't her focus wasn't dead. You know what I mean? Like, you look at Bayley and Sasha, they lost the Rumble, and they're like, right, that's it, lost the Rumble, we'll move on. Nia didn't. She can't accept that. And she's coming out then on Raw and confronting Dean Ambrose. And it's like, for me, I think her main focus isn't the tag titles. I think her main focus is establishing herself as a single star because she's unhappy with being left out with the whole Becky, Ronda, Charlotte situation. And I feel that's gonna be her downfall, and I feel like Tamina is always not gonna be happy with that either. The fact that she's socially awkward doesn't help. I think there might be a bit of, but there might be a bit of miscommunication in the match because she's like, oh well, I mentioned that she's gonna get attacked from behind.
Is it a bad time? Yeah. It probably is Tamina. You're in an elimination chamber.
It's a bit rude to say that she's
just overthinking.
Yeah, exactly. She's gonna overthink it. It's gonna cost her. You know, they obviously they've got the power advantage and the strength, but the speed lets them down, especially when they're against a team that consists of two of the horsewomen. You know what I mean? They're two of the best wrestlers in WWE, Bayley and Sasha. And for me, I think Bayley and Sasha are going to win it. Yeah, I'm going to go with them.
Okay, excellent. Do you know what would be interesting if Bayley and Sasha won it and then you had some call-ups for the horsewomen?
You could
have, like, even if you don't do Shayna, you could have the other two.
I don't think so. I would be leaning towards the Sky Pirates.
Okay, that's an interesting one.
And in that situation, I'd be going with Io and Kyrie to win.
Oh,
I think they are. For me, they're going to be the big stars of the women's tag team division.
Well, another story for another day because we are tight on time and we have to get to the Raw Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey faces Ruby Riott. Is there any chance? No.
I think
Ruby walks out with the belt. No.
People are over I feel bad for Ruby. Everybody's overlooking her because, we're talking about Becky, we're talking about, that whole situation.
It's set.
But as far as upsets go, I really just can't imagine Ruby overcoming Ronda.
Interesting one, though. Charlotte has said she'll be ringside for this match. Can you see Charlotte interfere? Could you see it being even that Charlotte, interferes and, cost Ronda by DQ or something like that? And
no, I think Charlotte's there to make a statement, but she'll make it after the match,
okay.
I feel.
Okay. Do you think Becky will be there?
Well, no, she's suspended. So
she was suspended last week, and she showed up.
Yeah, but she was invited back on Raw the following week.
She was suspended for SmackDown, and she just showed up.
Yeah, I mean, she can show up whenever she wants, right? Let's be honest, it is Becky. She can do what she wants, exactly. But why would she want to be there? You know what I mean? Like, is there what?
Charlotte's
going to
be
there. What point does
she
she have to prove? She's already proven her point by winning the Rumble.
Charlotte's going to be there.
And
Rousey's going to be there. The two people she hates most in the world will be in the same place at the same time.
They're always in the same place at the same time. They work in the same place.
No, Charlotte works in SmackDown and Rousey works in Raw.
Good point. But every time there's a pay-per-view, they're in the same building. And for me...
And they tend to fight. Becky fought her at the thing, and then at TLC, Rousey attacked both of them.
Yeah, but Becky had a reason to be there. She had matches. She doesn't have a reason to be here this time, is what I'm saying. Because, again, she's proven her point, and everyone knows she belongs to the main event of WrestleMania. Okay. And... it's just not going to happen now because she's suspended. And that's just how it is.
You just have to accept it. That's the way it is.
It's wrong. It's bullshit. You should start a petition. Absolutely. Hopefully you share what that that DM you got.
There you go. That. Yeah, we will. The Elimination Chamber main event for the WWE Championship. Daniel Bryan defends against AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, Samoa Joe, and Kofi Kingston replacing Mustafa Ali last minute, as we discussed earlier. The question is, how does this build to WrestleMania? Who's going to be the champ walking in? Is Bryan going to retain, or are there some other plans? Where do you see this going?
So Randy being the last one out, is that the only thing we know?
All we know.
So this is just purely guesswork then, because we don't know, who the first two are.
Mm-hmm.
So on my guesswork, right, the first person to get eliminated, I feel, is AJ Styles. I think AJ, he's tried time and time again to get the title off Bryan. It's not happening. I think he's kind of burnt himself out a little bit. I think what's best for AJ would be if he just took some time either away from WWE in general, or, well, maybe not WrestleMania season, but just sort of have a look at everyone else on SmackDown. Try and pursue other goals, just in the meantime. Take a break away from Daniel, away from the title, because right now I just don't see him pulling off the result that he wants.
Do you know what I'd love to see? And they haven't done it in a while. Do you remember when you'd have someone who'd lose the belt heading into WrestleMania season? You're like, oh, but they should have been in the title match. They're really big, and that's really cool. They need something special. Do you remember in the old brand split days that they'd have a Raw versus SmackDown match? And they'd invade the other show because there's just someone they want to take out. I'd love if that'd be good for AJ. If it's just a special match.
That's a great. Yeah, that's actually a fucking great idea. Yeah, invade Raw, do something, just get your mind off the
AJ
title.
Balor.
You could for the Intercontinental title. Yeah, that's a fucking again. Is that a title that AJ's won? I don't believe it is.
No, there you go.
So
it's an interesting
just pursue other goals and come back to it later on, because right now I just feel like he's burnt out. And as soon as the chamber starts, he's out.
AJ first. Who's next?
Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
His body's caught up with him. Do you know what I mean? He's old enough as it is, and his body is that of someone even older. And he's against Bryan, someone who kicks hard. He's against a monster in Samoa Joe, a psycho in Randy Orton, and Kofi Kingston.
He's also there.
But we'll get to Kofi in a second. So those are the first two eliminations. Third elimination, I would say, is probably Joe, because we know that Orton's going to be last. I would have gone, it's either Joe or Orton.
Right.
Joe, he's coming out before Orton, so I just feel Orton's going to be the fresher man. And Orton might be the guy that takes out Joe. I can actually imagine that, because Orton has he's got an underrated amount of power to him. But then it's a triple threat, and I feel that with Bryan, Kofi, and Orton, I think Orton's gone. I don't think Orton wants it bad enough. I think Kofi, we've seen how much he wants this. Even on SmackDown this week, we have seen what he can do when he's got that fucking fire. You know what I mean? How long did he survive in that Gauntlet match?
An hour or so, yeah.
So how long do you think he's going to survive in Elimination Chamber?
I think Kofi's going first because he got injured in SmackDown.
No, I think he's going to power through that injury, and I think he's going to be. I honestly think there's going to be moments in this match where oh fuck, Kofi's won it, but he won't. I think he'll come up short.
Similar to Santino Marella a few years back.
I wasn't watching, but I think I know what happened there.
I think Daniel Bryan was the one who beat him as well. Santino and Daniel Bryan, the Elimination Chamber, and you genuinely became convinced for a while. You're like, holy fucking shit, Santino's going to do it.
The injury might cost him in the end, but I feel like he's absolutely going all the way, to the final two, 100%. But then Bryan's going to win it. I think Bryan, he is the champion for a reason. Such a good talent, and he's got Rowan in his corner, so that added confidence just makes him invincible.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bryan as well. I haven't figured out the order elimination. I do think Kofi goes first, but I love your story, and I would be a fan if they go with that. So that's Elimination Chamber.
Also, sorry, you replaced Mustafa Ali. I would have said the exact same for Mustafa Ali.
Yeah.
I think he would have made the final two.
And I could see them even doing the same with the Gauntlet with Mustafa. That's probably the plan. But Kofi is great and deserves this spot as well. So it's great. It's going to be fun, guys. It's a sneaky decent card as well, especially when you talk. That's why I love these previews, because it just makes us think about it. And then you're like, holy shit, this is actually pretty good. Guys, check it out in Buskers and the Ball next Monday night from 6 p.m. Avoid spoilers and come down and enjoy it with us with pints and good atmosphere and the crack. We're also going to have retro gaming. We're still discussing some kind of Elimination Chamber team. We're figuring it out, guys.
Tony Hawk's Underground 2 Elimination Chamber, please.
Oh my god, yeah, we're done. It'll be, but anyway, guys, we'll be back on Low Blows next week. All things going well, we can say this now. We don't know 100%, so don't blame us if we can't. We think we may have the return of the Queen. Katie Harvey, if everything goes to plan, there's no setbacks, may be back next week on Low Blows, which means the return of Queen versus Keen, and it cannot come quickly enough because you are 8-5 down.
It's 8 all, basically. She hasn't shown up. And, you know, I mean, for me, I just think it's absolute bullshit.
Officially 8-5, but we shall see as we resume play next week on Low Blows. If Katie can make it, there may be a setback in the meantime. But until then, you can subscribe to Corporate Keen on YouTube. This week you were asking Twitch. You went back to Twitch.
Yeah, I went back to Twitch and I asked them for their Elimination Chamber predictions. And, yeah, it was alright.
You rating your own video. Where would you put your video and this is awesome?
You know when something's kind of like, you wouldn't put in this is awesome, but you also wouldn't put it and say something stupid. I don't know. There was some good and bad in it. Like,
so, there you go. Check it. Like very honest.
There's a deadly cover of. Oh, I don't want to spoil it now. Do you know what? There's a good thing happening at the end.
Very honest review of your. Subscribe to Corporate Keen on YouTube. It's all free and I'll go crack anyway. So check that out. But until then, enjoy Elimination Chamber. Enjoy your weekend, guys. Enjoy fucking binging on wrestling. It's back. Irish wrestling's back. WWE's back. No Spoiler Monday's back. It's all fucking back. Before next week we ruin it all. So until then,
enjoy it while it lasts. Do you know what I mean?
when we'll be talking about ruining wrestling, and we'll be reviewing all of that weekend for Corporate Keen, for Rick Nash. That's the bottom line. Because Lobo said so.